Yo, what up? It's your boy One Up Token. In today's video, we got ourselves a brand new video of some talk about Nintendo Switch 2. I have been on the fence lately, and simply because I am very intrigued with the Nintendo Switch 2. Um, I was able to get a pre-order, and I was able to secure one, but with all the news surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2, I'm feeling a little bit on borderline with, the way the company is going about handling the release of this console. Um, don't get me wrong. Um, Everyone loves Nintendo. People are big fans of Mario. You got your Mario Kart. Luigi's Mansion. You got your Pokemon. So forth and everything and all that, the good jazz. But my thing is, with recent news, I've been hearing about the Nintendo Switch cartridges aren't even going to hold the game. You know what I mean? It's just like, they already marked up the price, and it seems like with them marking up the price on the games, digital and the physical games, it just set a whole domino effect with games being the norm of $80 or potentially more for the future. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm all for spending my money on a very good game if it's worth spending my money on, but in recent news I've heard that it when you're buying these physical copies of these games for the Nintendo Switch 2, you're not even owning the game. You're pretty much just you're buying the cartridge, which the cartridge doesn't even hold the game. It just holds the game key from what I'm hearing. And without a stable internet connection, you won't even be able to play the game. So that is a concern for me because what if I get the Nintendo Switch 2 and I'm out and about, and say I don't have a stable internet connection and I want to play my games on the go. It's supposed to be a portable console. I wonder if Nintendo is going to allow its users to play the game keys that have already been purchased, because if I'm going to spend $80-$90 on a game, I'm going to at least expect to be able to play it, on the go without the internet. You know what I mean? So I don't want to cancel my pre-order because, I mean, I'm happy that I was able to secure one. I'm not going to cancel it. It's just that there's a couple of titles that I am expecting on Nintendo Switch 2 that I'm anticipating to play, like Donkey Kong Bonanza, of course Mario Kart World. I'm excited to play that. There's just a whole bunch of negative energy surrounding this company, and we already know what Nintendo has been doing to its consumers for a long time now, and it just seems as though like they're taking the next step of gaming in somewhat of a negative direction, in my opinion, because although this console is going to sell out immediately, it just seems like it's going to have a hard time trying to keep a fan base that supported Nintendo for so long when they're making all these rapid changes that doesn't seem very consumer friendly, especially when times are tough. We got the tariffs and everything going on. I don't want to get political. I don't want to get too political on those details, but we got a lot of other world things going on that a lot of people can't really afford to have this console, and a lot of people shouldn't have to sacrifice the time and money that they put into getting something that they loved growing up, or that they've had growing up, or have been a long follower of, in exchange for overpriced games. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that Nintendo is primarily geared towards like younger audience. Most of these people that are affected, that are really very upset about this change that Nintendo has going on, is the older folks. The people that have been fans of Nintendo for a long time. That that go to work every day and put their hard-earned money towards the games that they love to play. I just think that with the Nintendo Switch 2, they have to have something that's really gonna like knock me out the park. Is what I'm feeling like. Like, yeah, I anticipating the game is cool and all, but what more does it have to offer besides that? You know what I mean? Like, I know they introduced game chat. You know, says we got bigger screen, and you know, it just seems like a downgrade. Seems like Nintendo has fallen off and fallen behind other newer gen consoles. You know what I mean? For a higher price than what, let's say, a PS5 or a Xbox or Microsoft, Sony or Microsoft are expecting. It just seems a lot. And I could understand people's frustration on why they would like to drop the price, because like, you're not really getting your money's worth out of this console besides your first party titles that have been on Nintendo consoles. They're obviously newer, but they have been around on Nintendo's consoles for a very long time. It's not like we're getting anything straight new out of the park. Besides Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's the only game I'm really excited for. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a game that I'm really excited for. Because it's supposed to be like Super Mario Odyssey, and if it's anything like Super Mario Odyssey, I'm interested in playing it. You know, it's an open world game, and that could be a game changer. That's just one game though. We also do have Mario Kart World. I don't know how Mario Kart World is supposed to play like outside of the previous titles. Other than you being able to drive anywhere you want. It's more so like a Forza remix, kind of like crossover between Mario Kart Forza, and you can play with your friends, game chat with your friends. Yeah, that's cool and all, but where does it become a necessity for a price bump is my question. I don't see myself getting a Nintendo Switch 2 camera because I'm not really a fan of the whole the FaceTime thing. It just didn't interest me at all. Also in the conference, when they showed a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2 camera play, it seemed kind of buffery, kind of laggy, didn't really catch my eye. Who knows, maybe things could be different by time the console drops. But it didn't sell me. It's not something I'm going to be picking up unless it maybe later on down the line if it was to go on sale, but who knows. It's saying, and even with the Nintendo Switch 2, see, if I'm paying for these games, I'm gonna have to upgrade my storage. That's another thing. I'm gonna have to upgrade my micro SD storage in order to play more licensed first party titles, and that's more money I gotta take out of my pocket in order to play the games I would like to play. And I'm not even gonna get into the other Nintendo news surrounding because they just passed something along the lines. It was like, when you get a Nintendo Switch 2, in the user agreements, that if you mod your Nintendo Switch 2, they have the right to turn your Nintendo Switch 2 console into a brick. My idea of that, I don't think that is technically the right thing to do, because obviously I understand this is a big, company. They want to avoid people, doing piracy and trying to hack into their games, and potentially making them lose money. But honestly, they have enough money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not supporting piracy. I'm not supporting illegal things along with the system. It just seems as though, like, it's a bit harsh, especially when you got your games that you're buying for the Nintendo Switch 2. They're not even really full games. They're game keys that you're not really owning. It seems as though you're not really owning the games that you buy, because without internet you can't really play the console. So I can understand people's frustration as why they want to drop the price, but in my opinion, I don't plan on modding my console either way. You know, that's what anybody that wants to potentially mod anything along with Nintendo, I think they should go right ahead. Don't do it with their consoles. Do it on their own time, their own PC, with their own hardware, so then they can avoid legal issues and potentially having their Nintendo Switch 2 turn into a brick. Because if that's the case, you can't even use the console anymore. Now your money's gone down the drain. You done spent $600-700 on the console. Well, the console by itself, you spent $500, let's say, plus the games, accessories. You're spending damn near almost, let's say, $700-800 on a console. And say something like that happens to you, now your money's gone and you're just out of luck. So if you plan on modding your console, get a Steam Deck. I understand Steam Deck is a pretty powerful console, handheld as well. I might be picking up a Steam Deck. I was really kind of weighing sides on whether if I wanted a Steam Deck or the Nintendo Switch 2, but I was fortunate enough to get a pre-order, so that was pretty cool. So I think once I get the Nintendo Switch 2, obviously I'm gonna test it out. Probably do something on the channel where I preview it and kind of weigh my options on whether I am enjoying it or not. I'll have it about a month and see where it goes from there. But yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm on the fence, and what sucks is that I don't like supporting big companies that aren't in favor of the consumer and that don't support the consumer's wants and needs. But I'm also a gamer, so it's kind of like I'm contradicting myself and my viewpoints and how I feel. So that puts me on the fence, because like on one side, like, hey, do you support this company and buy their product, or do on the other side you don't and you miss out on, the games you like playing, So my thing is, I think when the system comes out, I'll do a little bit more further investigation on what I think of the console. I'm not gonna go off anybody else's judgment. I'm gonna go off my own opinions and my own research and how I feel about the console itself, and make my own decisions. But I am seeing what's going on with the media and the news surrounding this company. Like they've fallen off very bad, like, or they're gonna fall off very bad, and they're probably gonna lose some money. This is probably one of the worst releases I've seen. And usually the Nintendo Switch has, the first Switch when it came out had such a following and it has such a big impact on the gaming world and the community at launch, that people loved about the console, because it was supposed to be the next gaming evolution after the Wii. You know what I mean? It was supposed to combine the Wii and the handheld into something way more powerful. They're saying that this game it says TV and game must be compatible. It has 4K resolution. Frame rates are capped at 60 frames per second for 4K output. Some Nintendo games may not be supported or fully compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. So that's another thing. Some games I probably won't even be able to play on here. So my guess is I'm only gonna be able to play the Nintendo 2, the Switch 2 exclusives, you know what I mean, that are coming out. Like, I'm not gonna be able to probably go back and play any older games that were on the Switch 1 unless I own a Switch 1. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, why should I have to lose out? Say if I didn't own a Switch 1, why would I have to miss out on games that I loved playing on the first console when I could just play that on the second console, you know? And it seems as though, like, you know, a lot of these games that were on the first Switch console that are going to the Switch 2. I mean, yeah, they are getting some graphical improvements, but they're charging people an extra $10-$20 for the upgrade or the Switch 2 version. I think if you own the first one, you should get the second one for free, or at least compromise with your consumers. Because say for somebody that's been playing Breath of the Wild on the Switch 1 for a very long time with all the DLC, and they want to, transfer over their data to the Switch 2, cool. I understand that you want to get your money's worth for the game being pretty much not even remastered but improved. It has a slight improvement to the Switch 2. I don't think we should have to pay for both the upgrade and all its DLC, because they're charging people for the upgrade, which is $10, and then let's say for the Breath of the Wild DLC, which was about $20-$30, that's another $20-$30 you got to come out your pocket. What if you own it already? My question is, if you own it already, do you have to pay for it again? Do you have to buy it over? Because then that seems like a waste of money. That seems like a cash grab. People are not going to want to keep spending, because then if that's the case, they might as well continue playing on the Switch 1. They might as well continue to play the original version, especially if they can't continue where they left off with all of their DLC, and they got to pay for it. Maybe somebody don't have that extra $20-$30. Maybe they'd had just enough to get the games, like to get the upgraded version of the games, but just not the DLC, even though they owned it on the Switch 1. So my thing is, and I don't like that people make it a conversation where it's like, if you don't got the money, you don't deserve to have the console, or if you can't afford it, you need to work more. Like, no. What does that have to do with someone wanting to enjoy a game that they feel like they should be entitled to because it's a video game? It's not something that only the rich should have, or should have the luxury of playing. Yeah, I understand if you work hard enough to buy the console. I feel like buying the console should be enough, because we already put our money into supporting Nintendo. All these years, people have been putting their money into supporting Nintendo and everything that they do. And honestly, another thing that I really, really expect out of the Nintendo Switch 2, that's probably going to be a make or break for me, is the UI. The UI needs to be improved. It needs a big improvement. The eShop is horrible on the Switch 1. The eShop is absolutely horrible on the Switch 1. It's laggy. It's sluggish. It takes oh my goodness, it takes a long time to just to maneuver through the games on the eShop. I hope that they improve that on the Switch 2, because if that's the case, if it's the same as the Switch 1, why am I wasting my money? You know what I mean? It don't matter how much of a fan I am of a company or of a system, it's just wasting money at this point. It's like burning money. And I'm sure nobody wants to do that, especially if they got to get up and go to work and spend their hard-earned money on something they enjoy. So my thing is, I'm gonna do my own investigation when the system comes out. But I am on the fence. Mentally, I'm on the fence with this console and this company, because honestly, it's like you gain one thing, but you're losing like five things at the same time. You're gaining, improving one thing, and then you're losing another 5 or 10 things. You know what I mean? And at some point, you got to understand that you're taking more of a loss than you're taking a gain. So, I do like that the system is, I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about the console. If that was the case, I would have never got the pre-order, right? But honestly, there's some things about the console that I enjoy that I think might be really cool. I like that the console's slightly bigger, the grips are a lot better. Um, Hopefully they fix the drifting issue with the Joy-Cons. Other than it being slightly more expensive, it's like the cost of a PlayStation 5 for real. And for all that, I know there's people out there that are just die-hard Nintendo fans that won't go out and buy a PlayStation 5, but rather spend their money on a Nintendo Switch. They should be getting their money's worth. If they're gonna go out and spend their money's worth, they should be getting their money's worth on this new console, I feel like. The game chat is also another thing I think was very interesting. I will be picking up Mario Party Jamboree. They added some, the $10. I can understand. Boom, like you got your Jamboree with some some added games and some more gameplay mechanics with the Switch 2. I'm excited to see how that plays. What else? I'm excited to see how Mario Kart World is. And with the system getting ready to come out within less than a month, it just seems as though we got our hands full. Like the console is not too much different from the first one, but it does look beautiful. You know what I mean?
The Nintendo Switch 2 system can adapt to suit your situation, however you like to play. In TV mode, use the dock to play on a bigger screen. In tabletop mode,
that's another thing. I gotta get me a whenever I get a Switch, I always try to get an extra set of Joy-Cons, or at least get the Pro controller. I pre-ordered the Nintendo Switch 2 with also the carrying case. I might just cancel my pre-order for the carrying case and the screen protector, because it's not going anywhere. I don't think I'm gonna be taking it outside, because the way they talking, like how if you want to take it outside and you need internet in order to play it, this is more so like a console that, like the Wii U, you're gonna be playing this majority of the time in your house, or probably in bed, like a couple feet away from the TV, if you want to play it, kind of like the PlayStation Portal type deal. You know what I mean? And seems like that will be the way to go in order to play this console.
Place your system however you like using the stand, and share a controller with a friend. In handheld mode, play anywhere you go. With these 3 play modes, you can enjoy playing whenever and wherever you want. All together, anytime, anywhere. Let's take a look at some feet.
I am excited to see what Breath of the Wild looks like on the Switch 2 though. I think I own it already on my Switch 1. I think I'm probably just gonna have to pay the fee to upgrade it, which sucks, but I'm a Zelda fan, so I'm gonna test it out just for the channel, just to see what the game looks like. So be expecting some gameplay of that probably on the channel. Put some Mario Kart World gameplay on the channel.
Switch 2 and how it's improved from the Nintendo Switch system.
I feel like a horrible person because I know that a lot of people aren't gonna support this new console, and part of me don't want to either, but a part of me is like, I wasn't gonna get the console like if I wasn't able to secure a pre-order. Because I know the pre-orders were hard to get. I just was like, if I don't get a pre-order, then it is what it is. Screw the console. I don't care. But I ended up getting one, so that I felt like that was a sign to me. You know what I'm saying? So like, that gave me like kind of the initiative to actually want to play it. So
7.9 inches.
I'll play it so y'all don't have to. Let's put it that way. I'll play it so y'all don't have to. Y'all can fearmonger me, hate me in the comments, but I'll play it so y'all don't have to. But I do want to experience the new console. I want to understand, why is it frowned upon? Well, I know why it's frowned upon, because of the price and everything that Nintendo is doing behind the console, but I want to be able to play it firsthand myself. I'm interested. I'm highly interested in the console, You know what I mean?
Switch 2 has a bigger built-in screen. Here's how that compares to Nintendo.
So they see, like right here, sorry I keep pausing the video, but right here we got ourselves like, this is almost what, an extra, more than that, an inch and a half, another inch and a half difference. Yes, it is an inch and a half. No, a little bit more than that. Inch point 7. Like an inch and point
No
7,
switch.
almost 2 inches.
The system's thickness remains the same.
That's nice.
With approximately double the pixels compared to Switch, you can enjoy games in greater detail on the 1080p screen. The screen supports up to 120 frames per second.
See, they say up to 120 frames per second, but that's a lie because, well, it does say down here only in compatible games. But why would it only be in compatible games? It should be only in first-party titles, because it said on the page that it was locked at 60 frames per second,
allowing for smoother gameplay in supported titles. The LCD screen is more vivid and supports HDR, providing more contrast.
so it's brighter a little bit,
Between light and dark areas of the images.
a little brighter.
The all-new Joy-Con 2 controllers connect magnetically. Strong magnet.
I'm worried about the magnets too. That's another worry of mine. I did really like the dynamic of it being like you slide the Joy-Cons on, you know what I mean? But now that they're magnetic, I wonder how the difference will feel in if the magnetics like piece in the inside will break, and how firm are they? Because obviously now you're holding like a bigger console. Potentially you're holding like something more heavier. What are the chances of, you know, the Joy-Cons falling off? Are they firm? Like, I need to get this in my hands, pause, and see what it feels like on, you know, first person, because I think from a video you're not gonna get that understanding unless you actually hold the console or play the console yourself.
Magnets keep the controllers firmly attached to the system. Detach your controller easily by pressing the release button on the back.
There's no other piece for the slide on, because there's no slide on mechanic no more. It's just like you just have to play it. I don't see myself playing. Well, if I'm gonna have friends over, it seems like they're gonna have to play like side by side like this. I would have to get a couple of pro controllers, and the pro controllers are like 80, 90 bucks. Damn, spending almost $100 on. I mean, there's no different from playing. I mean, the PlayStation 5 controllers are 70, but 70 compared to 80 or 90 dollar controllers, that $20 difference, you're paying almost $100 a controller after tax probably. So I'm probably gonna have to invest in maybe like 2 or 3 pro controllers, you know what I mean, outside of the Joy-Cons.
The SL and SR buttons are bigger for greater comfort and control when playing with a Joy-Con 2 held horizontally.
I don't like playing horizontally.
The left and right sticks
Give me a
are
pro
now
controller.
larger.
I don't think I'm gonna be using the mouse
Joy-Con 2
controls
controller
either.
can be used as
That
a mouse,
seems pretty useless to me.
opening up even more ways to play in compatible games.
Yeah, I don't want my Nintendo Switch to be a computer.
Both the left and right Joy-Con 2 support mouse controls, so you can also play certain games using 2 mice, like this. By adjusting the audio balance between the ranges, sounds from the built-in speakers are clearer and more natural in handheld and tabletop modes. It has a built-in microphone, so you can voice chat with friends anytime via game chat.
What about wait? What about? Are y'all still using auxiliary? Because we are so behind on auxiliary. Like, we're past auxiliary. Can I get Bluetooth? Can I put some Bluetooth headphones in? I want to be able to speak with my homies on the mic through Bluetooth. I don't want to have to put an auxiliary cord into a 21st century console in 2025. I just don't want to do that.
Uses noise canceling technology to filter sounds, so your voice will come through clearly. Even if you don't have a surround sound system, games can be enjoyed with more immersive, three-dimensional sound, as if it were coming from all around you.
That better be a wireless headset.
Place your Nintendo Switch 2 however you like with a large, sturdy stand. You can move it freely, like this.
2 USB-C ports.
In addition to the USB-C port found on the bottom of the system,
got
there's
2 of them
one
now?
on top as well.
Is that a motherfucking auxiliary port? Is that a motherfucking auxiliary port? I told you I did not want that. I did not want that. I didn't. I did not want the auxiliary port. We want better shit, yo. This is why people are frustrated, and I'm trying to stay unbiased because I was about to say I have respect for this company. I don't like Big Corp because they just think they could just screw over the little people. I don't like it. We could at least get a USB. I'm okay. Maybe I'm not gonna jump the gun because I don't have the console in my hand. I'm giving this shit so much fucking hope. It's ridiculous right now. Maybe they're giving you an auxiliary option, but I better be able to play Bluetooth. I better be able to play Bluetooth, because if not, it's gonna be a problem. So it's gonna be a problem, and I'm probably not gonna enjoy it. I am gonna enjoy it. I lied. I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm gonna be very disappointed though.
It's handy for connecting a USB-C camera or
We don't want the
charging
camera.
in tabletop mode. Nintendo Switch 2 comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage, 8 times that of Nintendo Switch.
Okay, I understand. Okay, it comes with the 256 gigs. That's nice. That's worth it. That I could understand. That's about 8 times more storage. You're storing more games. That could be a reason for the price bump. That's one reason y'all can get away with a slight price bump.
Storing your game downloads, save data, and more. Reading and writing data is also faster. Use the Nintendo Switch 2 dock to connect to your TV and enable up to 4K resolution for compatible games.
Oh, I didn't know. Look, you know what I noticed? We have ourselves a LAN port. Yes, LAN. I love it. LAN ports. Just bring these back, man. Cause I need the fastest uploads. You feel what I'm saying? I need the fastest uploads. That was a given. I needed that. The LAN port.
For compatible games. HDR is also supported in TV mode.
Fan ventilation.
The Nintendo Switch 2 dock has a built-in fan that keeps your system cool. This helps keep performance stable. On Nintendo Switch 2, you can play Nintendo Switch 2 games, as well as compatible Nintendo Switch games. Physical and digital games are supported.
Yeah, I'm I'm still on the fence. I mean, I hope I enjoy it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I said, I only got really 2 or 3 games that I'm really anticipating, but that I'll probably play front to back. And hopefully they got some more games. I do want to play Pokemon ZA. But yeah, there's not a crazy amount of games. They're gonna be really just eating off of the ported games. That's what it seems like. They're gonna be eating off the ported games for this Nintendo Switch 2, and until the next year, because next year is probably they're gonna announce way more titles. The Nintendo Switch probably won't get good until next year. So honestly, it's just like either you really, really want this console or you don't. There's no in between. And right now, I got it because I really want it. I got the pre-order because I really want it, obviously. But for what it's worth, man, it might not be what it's worth. It might not. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to see what this is. We'll see more information about it on the 5th, which is in about 24 days, give or take, 23 days. And we'll go from there. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you turn that noti bell on so that you can stay tuned for more videos. I do discussions, gameplays, and I'm probably going to be doing some more discussion videos so you can kind of understand what I'm thinking about on these games. I like talking, so this is one of my first discussion videos. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll check y'all back later.